Hello students, today we'll see the third part in second unit of history, that is from trade to territory. The second Anglo-Maratha War causes. After accepted the subsidiary alliance by the Peshwa, Daulat Rao Scindia and Raghji Bhonsle attempted to save Maratha's independence. But the well-prepared and organized army of the English under Arthur Wellesley defeated the combined armies of Scindia and Bhonsle at Assaye and Aragon. So now we are going to see about the second Anglo-Maratha War. So the Peshwa Baji Rao II, he accepted the treaty of subsidiary alliance of British. So after this, Daulat Rao Scindia, so he is the nephew of Mahadaji Scindia, he and Raghji Bhonsle, they attempt to save Maratha's independence. But the English army under Arthur Wellesley was well prepared and well organized. So they defeated the combined armies of this Raghji Bhonsle and Daulat Rao Scindia at the place of Assaye and Aragon. The English forced them to conclude separate subsidiary treaties named the Treaty of Diogan and the Treaty of Suji-Urjingan respectively in 1803. But Yashwant Rao Holkar, also called as Yashwant Rao Holkar, was yet undefeated. He had not participated in the war so far. Holkar plundered the territory of Jaipur and in 1804 the English declared war against him. Yashwant Rao Holkar made an attempt to form a coalition of Indian rulers to fight against the British, but his attempt proved unsuccessful. The Marathas were defeated, reduced to British vassalage and isolated from one another. So the English people forced Scindia and Bhonsle to sign a separate treaty. Okay, so at the same time, Yashwant Rao Holkar, who is also known as Yashwant Rao Holkar, he was yet undefeated because he didn't participated in the war. After that, Holkar occupied the territory of Jaipur, so the English declared war against him. And also Holkar, he tried to get support from the Indian rulers to fight against the British, but his attempt was unsuccessful. So the Marathas were defeated and they had to pay amount to British as a vassalage, and they isolated from each other, isolated from one another. Results. The Maratha power was gradually weakened. The English East India Company started becoming the paramount power in India. So as a result, Maratha power was gradually weakened because they were isolated from one another. And also the English East India Company has started becoming the higher power in India. Third Anglo-Maratha War. The Third Anglo-Maratha War was the final and the decisive conflict between the British East India Company and the Maratha Empire in India. It began with an invasion of the Maratha territory by British East India Company troops. The troops were led by the Governor-General Hastings, and he was supported by a force under General Thomas Hislop. So now we are going to see about the Third Anglo-Maratha War. So this is the final and decisive war between the British and the Maratha Empire in India. So how this Third Anglo-Maratha War starts? It starts with an invasion of the Maratha. So the Maratha territory was invaded by the British. So it is invaded by the troops, so under the leadership of Governor General Hastings, and he got supported by a force under the leadership of General Thomas Hislop. Course. The Peshwa Baji Rao II forces, followed by those of Modoji II Bhonsle of Nagpur and Malhar Rao Holkar III of Indore, rise against the British. Rose means rise, okay? Rise against the British. Daulat Rao Scindia of Gwalior remained neutral. The Peshwa was defeated in the battles of Ghadki and Goryeo and several minor battles were fought by the Peshwa's forces to prevent his capture. Bhonsle was defeated in the Battle of Sitalbaldi and Holkar in the Battle of Mahadipur. So now the Peshwa Bajirao and Mudoji II Bhonsle and also Malhar Rao Holkar. So these three people rise against the British, and also Daulat Rao Sindhia. So he is remained neutral with these people and the British. So the Peshwa Bajirao, so he was defeated in the Battle of Gatki and Goriakan, and also Bhonsle was defeated in the Battle of Sitabaldi and Holkar also defeated in the Battle of Mahadpur. Results: the Maratha Confederacy was dissolved and Peshwaship was abolished. Most of the territory of Peshwa Bajirao II was annexed and became part of the Bombay Presidency. The defeat of the Bhonsle and Holkar also resulted in the acquisition of the Maratha kingdoms of Nagpur and Indore by the British. The Bajirao II, the last Peshwa of Maratha, was given an annual pension of rupees 8 lakh. So as a result of the Third Anglo-Maratha War, the whole Maratha Confederacy was dissolved and the post-Peshwaship was abolished by the British. So most of the territories of Peshwa Bajirao II was occupied by the British and it became the part of a Bombay Presidency. So Bhonsle and Holkar has also defeated by the British. So their kingdoms, that is Nagpur and Indore, was also occupied by the British people. So the last Peshwa of Maratha, that is Bajirao II, was given an annual pension of rupees 8 lakhs. Doctrine of lapse. Lord Dalhousie was one of the chief architects of the British Empire in India. He was an imperialist. He adopted a new policy known as Doctrine of Lapse to extend British Empire. He made use of this precedent and declared in 1848 that if the native rulers adopted children without the prior permission of the company, only the personal properties of the rulers would go to the adopted sons and the kingdoms would go to the British paramount power. This principle was called the Doctrine of Lapse. It was bitterly opposed by the Indians and it was one of the root causes for the Great Revolt of 1857. So now we are going to learn about the Doctrine of Lapse. So Lord Dalhousie was one of the chief architects of the British Empire in India. So chief architect means he is not chief architect, he is developing the British Empire in India. And also he was an imperialist. So he adopted a new policy which is known as Doctrine of Lapse. So why he want to adapt the new policy? To extend the British Empire in India. So now we'll see about the policy Doctrine of Lapse. So what is that policy? So if the native rulers of India, so if they don't have any children, so they want to adapt a children to rule their kingdom after him, right? So the native ruler want to adapt a children. So if they adopted a children without the prior permission of the company, so only the personal properties of the rulers will go to the adopted sons and the kingdoms, the kingdom which he rules would go to the British paramount power. So this is called the Doctrine of Lapse and this was opposed by the Indians and also this is one of the cause for the Great Revolt of 1857. Factors for the success of the British: greater naval power, development of textile, scientific division of labor, economic prosperity and skillful diplomacy of the British, feelings of insecurity among the Indian merchants, the inequality and ignorance of the Indian kings. So now we are going to see about the factors for the success of British, their greater naval power and also the development of the textile, division of labor. So what they are doing, they are dividing the labor according to the division, because if they are in a joint manner, they would be joined against the British, right? So division of labor. Economic prosperity and skillful diplomacy of the British people, and also feelings of insecurity among the Indian traders or merchants, the inequality and the ignorance of the Indian kings. Conclusion. The Battle of Plassey was the foundation of British dominion in India. The company's administration was not for the interest of people. It was imperialistic, expansionist and exploitative. It brought more Indian territories under British domain through subsidiary alliance and doctrine of lapse. This policy led to a South Indian rebellion, Vellore rebellion and the Great Rebellion. So the Battle of Plassey, which happens between Robert Clive and Siraj-ud-Dowlah. So it is the foundation of British dominion in India. So the company's administration was not for the interest of people. Their motive is not to increase the life standard of people. Their motive is to expand their empire, right? So it was imperialistic, expansionist and exploitative. And also it brought more Indian territories under British. So how they brought more Indian territories under them? By the subsidiary alliance and the doctrine of lapse, through these two methods. So these two policies led to a South Indian rebellion, which happens in 1800 to 1801, and Vellore rebellion 1806, and the Great Rebellion, which happened in 1857.